Do you know anything about corporate structure? Like how to, like, for example, I know once you go after like a certain bracket, is there, let's just say someone's doing, and I've always been curious, I'm not there yet personally, but I've been curious. Like, let's say someone's doing $10 to $15 million a year, or in a multi 7-figure, 8-figure bracket. I know there's like a way to set up different corporations to have like different things so that you're like very far away from the business in case something hits it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Can you like explain a little bit more on like, what that structure looks like?
Yeah, so there's a difference between entity structuring and entity layering. I might set up my entities in a certain way to minimize my tax bill, but then I might layer entities to create more anonymity, and I might layer entities to also defer taxes. So you'll see some business owners will eventually switch their entity from an LLC to like an S corporation to save money on taxes. But eventually you're going to start making more and more income, and the S corp goes all the way up to 37% tax bracket. The C corp is only at a 21% tax bracket. So that's a 16% delta right there, right? So if I'm making multiple 7 figures, I have to look at considering the C corporation. But some people are hesitant to go into the C corporation because when you draw money out of the C corp in the form of a salary or dividends, that's when you deal with the double taxation. So sometimes we'll have an S corporation establish a C corporation management company that just manages the S corporation. So we'll move money over from the S corp to the C corp. The S corp receives a tax deduction. The C corp has money that's being taxed at 21%. Now I can choose to just take money out of the C corp in the form of a loan and loan it back to my S corp every time I need assets inside of my S corporation. Or I can set up this C corporation to be on a completely different fiscal year end. My S corp might file tax returns come April 15th of 2024. My C corp may not file tax returns until 2025. So I bought myself almost 21 months to pay the taxes in this new C corp I just set up. So when it comes to entity games, look no further. I would love to talk to anybody when it comes to that.
That's interesting. And like, when should somebody start doing entity, like the layering? Should there be like a revenue bracket you should achieve first and then start thinking of layering?
I think the first question is when should somebody consider having a tax strategist outside of just a tax preparer? Because there's someone who files your tax returns every single year, right? That's the CPA. Every single person with a pulse who makes over $13,000 has to file a tax return. But then there's specialized tax strategists like myself who solely focus on helping people reduce their overall tax bill. So after you've kind of had a couple of conversations with your CPA and you find out this person's really just filing a tax return for you, you'll go around your CPA to figure out, okay, what are the top 1% of business owners doing to minimize their tax liability? Then you'll start running across various different strategies, setting up advanced corporations, entity layering, anonymity, Augusta rule, children on payroll, and that requires someone who just focuses on strategies to be able to guide you and implement those strategies with you. Because the CPA spends most of their time filing tax returns. They may not spend a lot of time studying tax code to formulate strategies.
So when should somebody get a tax strategist then?
I would say when you find out that you have a tax problem that your CPA can't solve for you.
Okay.
And that's typically when the client will reach out to my company or at least try to get in touch with me. Hey, I was told I had to pay this. I don't want to pay it. What are we going to do? What can I do? And that's only going to happen from education, because at the end of the day, you're going to do whatever your CPA tells you to do because, well, he's the CPA, he's the professional. If I go into the doctor's office and they tell me I need amoxicillin, okay, I need amoxicillin to make my sore throat go away, right? So you're going to trust your CPA until you decide to get educated and learn other things that you could do outside of what's happening in your CPA office. And that's when you'll stumble across tax strategists or tax attorneys that solely focus on strategy.